All right, good morning, everyone. We are on the 16th day of our journey here, and what I want to talk to you about today, here on Monday, 21st of January, 2020, I want to talk about hitting the target. And I've referenced this idea before, but I really want to reinforce it, and I want to try to make it more practical as we're leading us. As I'm leading you through this journey, and we're on this journey together. So I want to talk about, in our goals, how do we hit our target? And there's a couple ways to do that. So there's two things in particular that I'm thinking of. One is about scaling goals. So what do I mean by scaling goals? Well, when we talked about setting goals at the beginning, I talked about the importance of not getting all anxious about the numbers and trying to overreach ourselves and set goals that are higher than what's practical, right there, in what we can do right now in our life at this stage, and nor on the other hand becoming discouraged because we think our goals aren't good enough. So we said set realistic goals, and then we want to scale those goals. So you want to build on them. Let me use water drinking for an example. That's often where I have a lot of people start in their health goals, is just develop a habit of drinking water consistently, as much as their body needs. And so the first week of that journey, you start out and you define, okay, how much water am I drinking right now? Maybe I'm drinking 4 glasses a day, and ideally I should be up somewhere between 8 to 10. So what can I do this week? Well, this week, I'm gonna try to get 6 in a day. So I'm just increasing it by 2 each day. And that's pretty achievable for most people. That's something you can think about. You get a water bottle, you find out little tricks and ways to remind yourself to get those two extra cups of water in. And then you do that for a week, maybe 2, and that becomes a routine. Then you're like, okay, now I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go from the 6. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna hit the 8. But then you're like, there's more to my health than just water drinking. I need to get some exercise in here. So you incorporate exercise, and then you start scaling up the exercise. And then you're like, I need to incorporate some nutrition. So you incorporate nutrition in the goals, and then you start scaling those up. So the whole point is that you're building a building, and you're building you. You're building a new you by building these new habits. So that's one aspect, and that's something you can apply to every area of your life. Now, down the road, in another video next week, we're going to talk about 2 different types of goals. There's some of the cold turkey goals. These are things that we need to just cut out of our lives entirely. And that's not something you scale. You handle that differently. Those you replace them with something else. But when it comes to developing positive habits, then you scale them up. And the other aspect of hitting your target is, again, as I mentioned this before, and then maybe it's a new thought for many of you, but I want you to really think about it, and because there's a lot of potential in it. And that's asking yourself the question, am I setting the goals I need to be setting? Are there other goals that I'm not thinking about that are going to contribute to this? And the best illustration I can think of is from the world of massage. So if you have a muscle, like say in your neck or in your back, that's really tight, it feels really good to have somebody rub on that muscle, on that knot. But the reason it's tight is not just because of that particular muscle. There's the whole structure around it, the muscles and bones that interact with it, that are contributing to its tightness. And so to really work it out and to get that muscle to release the tension, you can't just work on just focusing on that one muscle. You have to work on the areas around as well. And so that's a little bit how it is in our life. There's a lot of interconnected things. So I'm not going to take the time to give you all the examples that you might possibly encounter in your life. But in your goals, as you're thinking about whether it's a stack of books you want to read this year, whether it's amount of money that you want to make this year, whether it's changes in your health that you want to experience, whether it's changes in your emotional habits and how you view yourself, you're at a point now where you need to stop and ask yourself, what are the other things that are contributing to this? Let's take the stack of books, for example. You might say, well, I want to read a stack of books. Well, what's keeping you from reading that stack of books? And you might say, well, I'm having a hard time scheduling it. Why are you having a hard time scheduling it? Maybe it's a time management issue. Maybe it's a motivation issue. Maybe it's could be any number of things. Ran out of examples there for a second. It is saving your health. You know, you say, oh, I want to shed some pounds. Well, why? How come you're not shedding the pounds? Well, I don't think I'm eating healthy. Well, what does that mean? What do you mean you don't think you're eating healthy? What does eating healthy look like to you? Define that. Because sometimes we have these general ideas. Oh man, I eat too much. People say, well, okay, how much do you eat? Oh, I don't know. I just eat too much. Well, okay, you say you eat too much, but then how come you haven't stopped eating too much? Well, you know, okay, that you have to ask those questions and make people think, and get them to really be specific and be like, oh, you know, what are we really doing? And then as you dig down into it, you find out, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I can just make one small change here. Maybe I just need to eliminate snacks, or I need to eliminate soda, or maybe I just gotta cut sugar out of my diet. Well, that's a big one, but it's a good one, and it's an easy one to do. It takes a little readjustment with shopping and cooking. But sometimes, if we really dig into it, we find out that there's other things that are like little dominoes that when you hit them are going to cause a whole chain reaction of positive habits in your life. And that, you know, when it comes to like, well, I want to save more. Well, how come you're not saving more? Let's sit down and really think about, you know, go over your finances and look and say, okay, where can I practically cut back? Why am I not saving as much as I want? So, and you're probably doing that already, but in every area, you know, but then even in the money thing, think about, you know, what drives you and how you spend. You know, are you someone who you just like to spend because you feel good? Become aware of your feelings. Like you just feel good when you buy something, like it makes you happy. You know, that's going to be, you're going to have a little bit of, you know, a challenge to overcome that. But now you have awareness because you know what you're up against. And, you know, and then that's something, you know, that goes into a cold turkey goal. That's like, oh boy, okay. My happiness is, you know, I'm getting this happiness from spending money, so I need to replace that with something else. And, you know, and so on and so forth. Well, you might find yourself the type of person who, you know what, maybe you're not a spender at all. You just got too much on your plate, for whatever reason. So you just have to realistically look at what you're doing and look at the bigger picture, and start considering the other things that are contributing to the habits that you're wanting to change and improve. And as you do that, and then again, set goals in those areas and scale those goals as you can. And again, you're remembering if it's something that you just need to cut out, then you replace it with something positive. And we'll develop that in another video. So here's to hitting our target. Shoot straight, shoot clear, be honest with yourself, be realistic, but go for the goal, do what needs to be done, and I believe in you, and I know that you can be successful as you continue